Hi, and thank you for tuning in to the New Hampshire Outdoor Learning Center Smoked Fish episode. We're very excited tonight to be bringing you some silver salmon, red salmon, and king salmon that we'll be putting in the brine tonight so that tomorrow, when we put it in the Bradley, by the end of the day, we'll have some of the best eating fish there is. Now keep in mind that this is not just for king salmon or silver salmon. You can also do this with lake trout, rainbow trout, and brook trout. Nothing beats a great smoked fish. So let me tell you a little bit about our brine. We have 1 part salt. In this case, we have 1 cup of salt, and we have 4 cups of brown sugar. Then we're going to add our little secret sauce here, some garlic powder. Once we add these all together and we put it on top of the fish, what you'll see is that the juices of the fish will come out of the fish and actually form a liquid brine. This will be in overnight, about 8 hours. And it will be a perfect glaze and a nice sweet yet salty with a touch of garlic taste. Be absolutely fantastic. So let's go ahead and mix these up. I'm going to dump my brown sugar in, put in my salt, and this is non-iodized salt, by the way, also known as pickling salt or canning salt. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix it up with my hands to make sure that it's all mixed in good. Break up the clumps of brown sugar. Once this is really well mixed in, we're going to lay a nice bed of it in our pan here so that we can lay our fish right on top. So you'll notice I'll sprinkle a little bit on the bottom, flatten it out a little. Take my first piece of fish. This happens to be a nice piece of Kenai red salmon. I'll nestle it right into the brine. We've got one of those nice small Jack Kings that comes out of the Homer Spit Lagoon. Extremely good eating fish. We'll lay that one down next to that one. We'll grab some more of our brine mix. At this point, we're going to put a little bit of garlic powder on there, just to give it a little bit of a kick. Now we've got a big piece of silver salmon that we'll lay on top of that. Another piece of red salmon. And our final piece of salmon, right in the corner there. And we'll work this all in to the meat. I think you'll find it interesting that even though this is dry right now, by tomorrow morning, there'll be liquid about 2/3 of the way up on this glass bowl. It is important that you brine your fish in a glass bowl so that it doesn't take the metal via the salt and taint the taste of your fish. So we always recommend using a glass bowl. Okay. Rinse my hands off here real quick. Just want you to be able to see this. Looks just like that. It's got different layers of garlic salt, brown sugar, and regular salt. Going to go a little bit more on top here. And then we're going to cover it up with some cling wrap. And then we'll take it over and put it in the refrigerator. Now, smoked fish is one of my favorite meals. Particularly if you can turn it into like a cheese ball. Serve it with crackers. Very, very tasty. The hardest part is keeping your hands off it while it's in the smoker. Very tempting to reach in there and grab a piece, and then by the end, you've only got half about with what you started. So there we go. So we'll put this in the refrigerator over here, and we'll touch base with you first thing in the morning. That'll be right at 8 hours in the refrigerator. Looking forward to tomorrow. Well, good morning, everyone. We're back here in the kitchen this morning working on our smoked salmon project for today. As I told you last night, we had 8 hours of brining this fish in the brown sugar and salt with a little bit of garlic salt. And here's what happens. It pulls all the juices out of the fish and creates a nice sweet glaze. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to the sink. We're going to rinse off all the salt and the brown sugar that we can, and then we're going to lay the salmon fillets on a rack and let them dry for a couple of hours before we put them into the smoker. So we'll head over to the sink. Okay, a lot of people don't think about the fact that you need to rinse off the brown sugar and the salt. Believe me, you only do that once. It's very, very, very salty. So what we're going to do is run the water, take each one of these fillets, and really give them a good rinse. Work the meat back and forth to get into all the crevices and areas to get all the salt out. And then we'll lay it on this rack and let it drip dry for a little bit. Nice cold water. You can feel that as the juices and the moisture came out of the fish, that the fish firmed up really well. We're going to give it about 2 hours on the drying racks. And it's going to form almost like a candy coating. It'll be sticky to the touch. So that's how you'll know when it's ready to go into the smoker. Okay, we'll finish rinsing this off and we'll get back to you when we're ready to put it in the smoker. Okay, folks, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're ready to put the salmon fillets into the smoker and have a nice dinner tonight. As we mentioned earlier this morning, we left these out to dry for about 2 hours, and they're very, very sticky to the touch. What that's going to do is help the smoke adhere to the fish and give it a fantastic flavor. We also decided to throw in a few elk sausages. In our big game processing class, we take a whole elk and we butcher it all the way down to steaks, roasts, sausage, hamburg, stew meat, and this is some of the results of that class. There's nothing like a little smoke on your sausage along with your eggs in the morning. We've got the Bradley smoker, an excellent way to smoke your fish or your meat. It's got a nice temperature gauge here. We're going to run it from 150 to about 180 degrees, and somewhere around 1.5 hours to 2 hours it should be done. This is the variety pack that Bradley sells with their little wood biscuits that create the smoke. We've got applewood, alder, cottonwood. We've got a bunch of really nice flavors here that we can add to the smoker to make it just right. All right, I'm going to slide these trays in. I like to keep my fish up a ways away from the heat so that it doesn't dry out. It cooks nice and slow. And given that the sausage is a little bit thicker, we can place that closer to the heat at the bottom. You'll also notice in here there's a drip pan, but there's a little bowl of water here that will catch these biscuits. As these biscuits burn, they'll turn into just a hot ash. The next biscuit pushes the ash over into the water and puts out the flame. This is our temperature setting here. I'm gonna put it right on medium. That'll give us about a 150 to 160 temperature range. We'll look at our watch here and give it about an hour, and we'll come back out and take a look. We're looking forward to a great meal tonight, that's for sure. Okay, it's been about an hour, and I almost can't resist, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the door and take a look. Now, one thing you should keep in mind is when you open the door, obviously it's gonna cool off the inside of the smoker. So we don't wanna leave the door open too long, but come on in a little bit closer, and I wanna show you our temperature gauge here. We're just past medium, and we're looking at about 150 degrees. You'll notice there's a little vent on top that also helps regulate the temperature and allows the smoke to escape. Now let's open up and see what we got inside here. Oh yeah, it's looking good. You can see the fat and the meat just starting to come to the surface. I think about another 20 minutes and we're gonna be good to go here. Almost makes you want to reach right in there and grab a slab and start chowing down. But we'll be patient, and we'll get the rest of our supper ready to go, and we're gonna have some smoked salmon and some smoked sausage tonight. Okay, we're all done. We actually snuck a little piece of it, and it's right on time. About an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. Now we're gonna take it inside, and we're gonna enjoy a nice meal. Right there, that is a stack of really good eating food. One thing you'll find out about the Outdoor Learning Center, we love to eat, and we love to eat wild. Hopefully you can join us one of these times, and we'll show you how this is done in person. Until next time, we'll see you later.